Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Give me some bells. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm gonna rewind this. Yeah. Saturday night. Let me know if you can hear me and we will get this show on the motherfucking road. Still waiting on some bells. Let me know if you can hear me. Either there's a hell of a delay or you guys can't hear a word or a sound. Let me know. I'm waiting to hear something. And if I don't, I'm going to assume I have fallen on deaf ears. All right, Mary Blue. I'm going to take that as a yes. Yeah. Okay. Let's just get this thing started. How about that?
God is dawn. Like and subscribe. Comment some night. Love in this light. Here's God is dawn. God is dawn. God is dawn.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. That's me. Woo, I'm happy to be here. Peace, world, peace. Welcome or welcome back. I am Goddess Dawn, and I'm back live on this Saturday, July 17, 2021. Yeah, excited and thankful to be here. Thank you, God. You are the greatest. You are the best. Yeah. We have a lot to talk about, a lot going on in the world. And you know, we like to keep up with stuff over here. Warrior gang, hashtag smart people only. Yeah, that's right. Let's see who made it tonight thus far. All right, I see you, Wow Wayne. Yeah. Mary Blue, and Beautiful Spirit, thank you for being here and having my back. Yeah, Mod Squad. Daddy's Girl 1973, welcome back. Yeah. Miss Della's here. What? I didn't expect you tonight, but I appreciate you showing your face. All right. I appreciate and love y'all, and I thank you so much for your time and attention. So pour up, light up, get your gummies out, or just kick back and relax. Let's get this show on the road. Let's get into some things. Yeah. So, I like to give flowers. Let me drop the link first and foremost. Let me do that. Hope everybody's being safe out here in these streets, in the world streets, and in these YouTube streets. These YouTube streets can be pretty treacherous, even for a sub. I don't know how y'all be getting mixed up and stuff and in the mix, but y'all sure do be making it. Making it in the headlines, the titles, and everything else. Becoming content. How do you become content as a sub? Shout out to you. Chrissy Power, welcome back. Yeah, let me give you some bells, Chrissy. Yeah. All right, look. So we do have some news. R.I.P. Biz Markie. Turn this music down. All right. We lost another great one. Let me, I had something already pulled up here. I guess it's gone. Hold on, give me a sec. So yeah, R.I.P. I'm just going to read the headline from Bossa. R.I.P. internationally beloved rapper Biz Markie, dead at 57. We have been mourning hip hop legends for the past few months, and it seems they've all been in their 50s. So is this just a really loud cry for the Black community to get our health in order, and our men's health in order especially? I realize that being in the industry and, living life on the road, which these guys have been doing for the most part, it can be dangerous to your health if you don't take care of yourself. So I don't know. I just feel like these guys were in a position to do better. And I don't know if that's what it is. From what I understand, some of the reasons for death have been drugs and, conditions, health conditions. So I don't know. What am I doing? So yeah, I'm just trying to get a word out to y'all, man. We got to take better care of ourselves. I don't know about y'all, but I know I particularly have taken better stock in my physical health. Making a lot of changes to my eating habits, and not that I ate really bad, but not consistent enough good to make a difference. So these days, I make a vegetable soup every week. It lasts me for the week. So I'm making sure I'm getting all that. Just more green leafy foods. You know what I'm saying? So Gwyneth Harrison, welcome. Yeah, R.I.P. Biz. So the article says weeks after false reports, he died. Because we did also report that. I think, wow, Wayne, I'm going to blame you. We were live and we got word that he had passed, or that was the rumor. So I looked it up while we were live and discovered that wasn't the case, but that he was indeed ill, and I believe in the hospital at that time. So it is unfortunate to hear that he didn't recover, but instead he transitioned. It says here, Biz Markie released his hit single, Just a Friend, in September of 1989, and instantly he became a hip hop icon and household name. The song The song reached number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100, and back then, that was a major accomplishment, as hip hop was still being called just a trend. 32 years later, and hip hop is the number one genre of the music. I don't know what is wrong with me, of music in the entire world. And Biz, alongside his legendary beatboxing, helped pave the way for that to happen. Yeah. For the last year, Biz has had an intense battle with type 2 diabetes and even spent last summer hospitalized because of the illness. In the past year, there have been several false stories. He was in a coma before passing away, but Biz was reportedly doing better and in medical care when those false reports surfaced. Sadly, TMZ and Hip Hop Wired has confirmed that he passed away earlier this evening at 6:25 p.m. in a Baltimore hospital. It says, we're told his wife, Tara Hall, held his hand as he took his last breath, and the nursing staff was there to support his family, telling them how strong he was through his fight. A rep for Biz tells us, we are grateful for the many calls and prayers of support that we have received during this difficult time. Biz created a legacy of artistry that will forever be celebrated by his industry peers and his beloved fans whose lives he was able to touch through his music, spanning over 35 years. He leaves behind a wife, many family members, and close friends who will miss his vibrant personality, constant jokes, and frequent banter. It says Biz lived a life where he did everything his heart desired. Aside from rapping, he was also a beatboxer, DJ, comedian, and producer. Let his life and the ability to try everything while you live, or while you still have the time, motivate you to do the same. With Biz being born in Harlem, we are sure the community will come together to honor him in a massive way, and his fellow rap peers will show an outpouring of respect over the next days. We'll be sure to keep you updated with all the stories and love shared in his honor. I know I saw LL Cool J post something on Instagram today, and a lot of people are showing love. You know what I'm saying? Oh, baby. You know what? Let me let's see if I can get away with playing some of his music. Now, actually, you know, it's funny. Just a Friend. You know, I lived through the era, so it wasn't one of my favorites, I'll have to say. I used to be actually sick of the song when it used to come on, but I do understand it. That, you know, that was a classic. There was a song though that I actually liked. Well, first of all, we got to know that the song that popped him off in the first place. If you don't know this, you don't know Biz Markie.
E-O-R-S. The meaning of this word.
This one right here.
Means nobody wanna beat that one down and out. Now when you established and got a lot of money, everybody wanna be your buddy and honey. Like tall buildings, they call skyscrapers. And you feel it, nothing can save ya. But this is the season of catching the vapors. Since I got time, what I'm going to do is tell you how this ready to out my crew.
Hey.
Sang on my records, make the music nobody beats the miss. So check it. Back in the day before this began, he used to try to talk to this girl named Fran. The type of female with fly Gucci with big truck jewelry and extensions in her hair. Once I tried to kick it, she always best talking about, baby, please, you work
for UPS.
No type of big drug dealer. My man Caesar Swan didn't appeal to her. But now he trucks stolen with $5 boots. Rough leather fashion and tough silk suits. Now she stopped fronting and wants to speak and be coming to all the shows.
Every single weekend.
To get his people number, she be begging please. Dying for the day to get skis. She
caught the vapors. Yeah, she caught the vapors, y'all. She caught the vapors. Hey. True Seeker, welcome back. Peace and Serenity, welcome. Thanks for stopping. Yeah, April Dent, that's how we do it. But yeah, big fan. And I'm going to tell you, this was actually one of my favorites from him. I don't know if y'all know this one.
Sure, I have it tripping. See yo, listen close. And not right at the sun, or sweet like sugar, but a traveler on the bus tip, and it's called picking boogers. Now when I swear, my love
Picking boogers, baby.
but it's still something we
Hey, everybody.
What's happening, girl?
Nothing much. I'm up here like this.
That's right. We celebrating Biz Marquis for this moment. He the only one that could have had me singing about picking boogers. That's right. He taught us all about picking boogers. R.I.P. to this iconic legend. Thank you for all the great memories, the music, the beatboxing, all of that, the humor. Yeah, he brought humor to hip hop. You know, something that I think is missed today, as far as the things that we love and know about hip hop. Hip hop has a very soft spot for the funny bone. So shout out Biz Marquis, R.I.P. King. Yeah. Yeah. So let's move on. I like to give flowers before we get into the deep stuff. So yeah, I came across this. It was a video. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up. But a toddler with high IQ is the youngest American to join Mensa. He's actually a chess champion. And he's 10 years old. It says toddler down here, but then in the video, it says maybe he was 10 at the time. I don't know. I mean, a toddler at the time of the Mensa, but it's 10-year-old Tani Aduwini. And yeah, let me see if I can find this little video. What did I say his name was? Tani. Okay.
He handsome.
Yes, he is. Good job on the parents or whoever's raising him.
Yeah.
Okay. Found some things. Pulled up here. All right. All right. Let me pull up the screen or the video. Let's check it out.
Now we have a terrific story of triumph. Tani woman came to this country as a refugee, was then lived in a homeless shelter. Now he's one of America's youngest chess masters at the age of 10, and he's just getting started. Good morning, Tani. How are you today?
I'm doing very good.
You are doing very well, and you're looking very sharp this morning as well. So tell us how it feels to be a master at the age of 10.
It feels very wonderful, feels very good, because I've been trying to get it for some time now, since the pandemic. So it feels very relieving to get the time.
Not all that much time, you're only 10. But tell us how you first came to chess.
So how I first came to chess was definitely back in Nigeria, where I saw my dad's computer, and I saw this app was just called chess. I didn't really know what it was. I just looked at it for 1 minute, then I left. But when he came to America, I actually played on a real board with my brother, and he got it. He got the idea from his school, so we just played some moves, but it wasn't exact the way that chess would be played.
When did you realize you had a special talent for chess?
I don't know when, but I would say when I won the state championship, maybe.
That'll do it. Yeah, that would definitely do it. So when you're playing, do you just see 5, 10, 20 moves ahead?
Yeah, I can memorize and think ahead of my. Yes, I can do it.
Takes a lot of hard work, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about your book.
So, where should I bring it?
Sure.
This guy has a book.
I should probably bring it down here.
Do you see
Show it to us now.
Okay, so there are. So this one is the adult version. This is the adult version.
I heard that.
Then
Okay.
this one is the London version.
Whoa.
Okay, we
And
need to
then
be buying
this
these books
one
from this kid.
I think this is the previous edition. And then for the kids, you can't forget about the kids. This is the
That must have been a lot of fun to write.
yes.
How much time do you spend playing chess every day?
Probably like 9 hours. But after school, I play every day. Like I just play for the whole time.
What did you think of the Queen's Gambit?
Oh, the Queen's Gambit is a very fun TV series to watch, and I really like the action about it, and I like about the way the whole setting of the story. It really was a very good TV series.
So when you come back on GMA at the age of 20, what are we going to be talking about?
Me becoming Grandmaster.
All right. Well, congratulations on that. Congratulations on all the hard work. We love your smile. We love your initiative. Thanks a lot for joining us this morning.
Shout out to that young king.
Yes.
That's so good. And he has books. Who raised this kid? I love it. That's amazing.
The news reporter Todd made it look like he was sitting crooked.
You said he did what?
The news reporter, his tie was so crooked, it looked like he was sitting, like
Leaning a little bit, huh?
Yeah, he looked like he was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was probably sipping on a little something before the segment. So yeah, shout out to him. Tani is his name, and that's amazing. Some people some people don't live a full life with those type of accomplishments. So, 2 years old. Mm-hmm. So I want to talk about some headlines that I had seen when I was looking up something else that reminded me of some topics that I kind of wanted to go over a little bit. So let's see here. So the first headline is "No one is safe. Extreme weather battles the healthy world." And that does bring me to the weather is situations here in California. I know we're battling fires and drought. They're reporting on severe drought here and more so Northern California, I think, but it doesn't matter. It's happening. It's been happening actually. And the fires are always a seasonal. They come and they go, they come and they go. But with the drought in place, also it's bad news. I also know there's storms in southern and midwestern regions. I know Germany also had a major flood. Oh, wow. So what's going on out there with you as far as the weather? I know it's all typically hot or either freezing cold.
We had 4 days straight. Well, on my side of town, we had thunderstorms. I know Monday it was like we had a little bit of hail and thunder and lightning. It was kind of, it was weird and humid, but for that many days straight for the thunderstorms really bad, it was kind of strange to me. But I guess we needed it.
Okay, I'm also seeing there's a story. It says in under-vaccinated Arkansas, COVID upends life all over again. I wanted to say, the unvaccinated are being demonized and blamed for the new variants as well as the rising cases. You can't necessarily blame unvaccinated people when everybody's still getting the virus. It's still being spread. So because, the people who will be, I guess, penalized will be the unvaccinated person. So if you're vaccinated, why are you worry about yourself? If you're vaccinated, you're good. Yeah. And you can't convince people that you love and care about to get vaccinated. And I just suggest being safe around them. Wear your mask, stay distanced. It's the new way, the new normal. Yeah. They're also saying the pandemic has a new epicenter, which is Indonesia. They're saying the suffering that ravaged places like India and Brazil with deaths soaring, hospitals overwhelmed, and oxygen running out has reached Southeast Asia. So this thing ain't going nowhere.
Right.
Miss Della.
Della, hey.
Happy Saturday.
Hello.
Hey, Miss Della.
Hi, ladies.
Hi. Did you leave your party to hang out with us for a minute?
So I went. Hello,
Uh-oh.
everyone.
Uh-oh.
Della got she about to lay it up.
I'm
What
joining
you doing, Miss Della?
because I heard you say something about vaccinations.
Oh, you had to jump in on that, huh?
You damn right. So
What you got to say?
So I kind of disagree about what you said about the people that unvaccinated people are being blamed. So come on now.
I saw it with my own eyes. I see it in articles. I'm seeing it on Twitter. I'm seeing it on Facebook. I'm telling you, people, I'm not saying everybody is blaming, but there is a big and I think it's a PR push, to be honest, to get people to get vaccinated. It's like a big PR push to make people feel guilty or make people feel like the odd man out, like, oh, I better get it, because you know what I mean? Like, dude, stand strong. Go ahead though, Miss Della. You have the floor.
So there's two kinds of unvaccinated people. They are those are the ones that don't give a damn, and then there are you and Kim. I know, even though you guys are unvaccinated, I understand that you are also being careful. You're still doing, I'm going to assume, and I know you guys are still wearing your mask, still washing your hands, and still doing the things you're supposed to do to keep yourself careful. And then you got the others that never cared in the first place, thought the virus was a hoax, no hand washing, just normal, going around spitting and everything else.
There are those crazy.
Why Kim laughing? Oh,
it's true. You said don't give a damn, and then it's me.
Look, there are some people who aren't vaccinated who also don't believe in masks. I think those people, they're dangerous because, they're just obviously not, they're spreading. If they're getting sick, you got to be getting sick if you're walking around with no mask and you just living life like there's nothing going on. You got to be. And if you're getting sick and you acting like an ass, then you're spreading it and all of that. But, like I said, if the people are vaccinated, you guys should be good. And the people who aren't vaccinated, if you're not wearing a mask, then yeah, you're the problem. Other than that, everybody else should have some sense. I'm going to play this quick video. I think it's a quick video to give an idea. Let's see.
My name is Hannah, and today I am going to be taking Everlywell's sensitivity comprehensive test. The great part about Everlywell is that you don't have to go anywhere, and you can take the test whenever you want to and from the comfort of your own home. I just took my test. I've got my samples in the box, and I'm going to mail this off my return label so I can get my results and start this next adventure.
What?
What is that?
To the pandemic now, tonight a mask mandate returns to Los Angeles County while federal officials in Washington sound the alarm over a surge in infections nationwide. CBS's Christina Ruffini joins us from the White House with more on that. Christina, good evening.
Good evening, Errol. The White House is calling the Delta variant formidable. Cases are on the rise in all 50 states, and 99.5% of deaths are in patients who haven't gotten their shots.
There's a clear message that is coming through. This is becoming a pandemic of the unvaccinated.
With COVID-19 on the rise nationwide, Florida is now patient zero, accounting for 1 in 5 of all new cases. Just 4 states make up almost half the reported cases in the last week. Among the hardest hit, Arkansas, Louisiana, Missouri, and Nevada.
Clearly, this is attributable to 2 things: growing prevalence of the Delta variant, and secondly, vaccination rates that remain woefully inadequate.
In Los Angeles, the mask mandate is going back into place. for everyone.
I don't like it. I'm vaccinated. I wish everybody else would be vaccinated.
The White House is trying to convince more young people and vaccine skeptics to take their medicine, even mixing in a dose of pop star power.
If Olivia Rodrigo tells you to get vaccinated, you get vaccinated.
But President Biden this week blamed vaccine misinformation on social media platforms like Facebook for discouraging many Americans from getting their shots.
But young people, I mean, look, the only pandemic we have is among the unvaccinated.
See what I'm saying?
And tonight, CBS News has learned that 3 of those Texas Democrats who fled their state in order to stop that controversial voting legislation from getting passed and came here to D.C. have tested positive for COVID.
I was actually going to talk about that. But you see what I'm saying as far as, it's those unvaccinated people. It's those unvaccinated people. That's why we got to, this is what I'm saying. They're demonizing the unvaccinated because the numbers aren't what they want. He said it. He said the numbers are short, So, I want to,
There's 90. I understand there's 91%, or let's say 91% that's in the hospital, that's on oxygen. None of those people were vaccinated, is what I've heard from the last couple of days.
And it's a big belief that these numbers are forged. But I'm just going to say this: if that's the case, these people obviously aren't being safe themselves. If you're unvaccinated and you're out here with no mask and you're just ripping and running, being all close to people, just acting like it's nothing happening. That's what this is. They need to be distinguishing these types of people. Why did this happen to these people? They need to be getting that information and publishing that instead of just saying, the unvaccinated.
Well, those other states, they're the Republican states. Those are some of those governors. They're Republican governors. They never put a restriction on masks. They just let the people run wild there, and that's why their cases are kicking back up. See, they tried to cover it up. Now it's going to be uncovered because a lot of people are starting to get sick again.
Right. Well, the numbers
are 2 types of people. I believe that. Of course, it is. It's 2 types of people.
Well, they brought up the 3 Democrats who fled Texas testing positive. I wanted to actually go into that, what happened with the Democrats fleeing Texas. I know you're aware, Della. I'm not sure, Beautiful Spirit, if you are. Miss Della, you are aware, yeah?
No, I'm not.
No, Miss Della, I'm sorry.
But guess what? I'm actually not aware.
You're not? Oh,
No,
I'm surprised.
I'm surprised.
Okay, you finna learn. Oh, you finna learn today.
Online right now. No, you look this up. Look it up. Bring it up. Let me see what's going on.
No, so basically, they're the voting rights. Okay, so we were talking about the voting and abortion rights that are being attacked right now in several states, but Texas being one of them. And they're about to sign off on some things that these Democrats are not in agreement with. So they left the state. Yeah, they left the state. Hold on, I got a picture.
So I am aware that they left the state, but were you saying they left the state because they got COVID or something, or about misunderstanding?
No. They left the state to prevent the law, whatever is about to be signed into law.
Yes, I do. Yes, I am aware of that. I'm sorry. Yes,
okay, yeah, they couldn't do it with these people have to be, everybody has to be there for them to do this. So they decided to leave. They went to Washington, D.C. on a plane together. As you can see, they're out of there. Now the news called them super spreaders because apparently 3 of these people got to Washington and then tested positive for COVID, but they're all vaccinated though. So not sure what the big whoop to issue is. If everybody's vaccinated, that should be expected.
Just because you have the vaccine does not mean you cannot get COVID. You can still get COVID, you know that, but it could be you will probably most likely have mild symptoms.
That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, why is that even news? That you should expect everybody with vaccinations to be carrying COVID. Everybody
Yeah,
could
but
be
guess
sick.
what? I don't think I'm gonna wind up on a ventilator. Is basically what they trying to say. These people
Not,
now that's in the
not
hospital are on
no,
ventilators.
no, 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 no. We're talking about vaccinated people. I'm talking about these 3 Democrats who they're calling out as having had COVID, even though they're
Yes,
vaccinated.
but that's
Why
why
is
these
it
people
news?
still have COVID.
That's my point, though. Why is it news that they have COVID? They're vaccinated. Everybody's vaccinated. So why is that even news? It's expected that they're going to have COVID. The point is that they're not going to get sick enough to get anybody else sick who's not vaccinated or or who is vaccinated, excuse me, or it's not, or they're not going to expect it to die. They're not expected to go to the hospital. They're just like having a cold or something. Why are we reporting this?
I have
That's
no
what I'm saying.
idea.
It's
They need
not a big
something
deal.
negative. They need something negative to say.
Exactly. That's the only thing they could say. Oh, the 3 of them had COVID. Well, so what? Because everybody's vaccinated. I know everybody in DC is vaccinated at this point. The way they're pushing this, anybody who's not vaccinated in Washington needs to come to the forefront and tell us why not, and tell us the truth about why not.
You still got
You
a
know what I'm
lot of
saying?
people that does. You still got a lot of people that refuse to get the
Exactly.
vaccine.
But my point is the government is behind the push and behind the jab. So why, if you work in government, are you not with it? That's my thing. What is it about it that you're? This is who you work for. You're supposed to be with the program. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, look through. You got to read between the lines here, baby. Like, come on. They want to say these people. Look at them, super spreaders. They're calling them. If they're vaccinated, they're vaccinated. So what's the problem? You know what I'm saying? If they weren't vaccinated, I could see that. That would be a whole different thing. But they're not vaccinated, so it's a non-issue. I want to move on though. I want to move on to I'm in the headlines. This is the New York Times. The reason I was in the New York Times because I was looking for an update on that R. Kelly hearing to see what other than what we saw on Twitter information was out there and what old infamous Sylvia was talking about, because you can't believe half the stuff she says. So I was on the New York Times and I just looked at the headlines like, you know what, all these headlines are actually interesting. So another headline I saw that was interesting, it says, "Let the games be gone?" ? It says, after bidding scandals, human rights outrages, overburdened host cities, rampant cheating and a pandemic, has the world had enough of the Olympics? Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Let me finish this out real quick. It's only like a few more seconds of this news thing. Let me just play that out.
They said they were all vaccinated before they traveled. Errol?
Oh.
And Christina, there's more news out of Texas. A federal judge there halting DACA, the Obama-era program that allowed young immigrants brought to the U.S. by their parents to stay in the country. What is the reaction from the White House on that?
That's right, Errol. In a statement this morning, the president called it disappointing. He urged Congress to come up with a pathway for these young people to get citizenship and said the Justice Department will appeal the decision.
Oh, wow. So you guys know what DACA is, right? The DREAM Act. So that dreamers can stay in the country. A lot of people who were born in the country illegally, they were born in the country, but their parents were illegal immigrants. So the DREAM Act was created so that these children could live a full legal life, going to college and, being able to do everything that other people do. Obama kept that. I think he actually instated the DREAM Act, if I'm not mistaken. I know that it was something that was a big deal when he was in office. But now, of course, when Trump came in office, I think he put his foot on it. And I think Biden wants it to be restored or wants it to continue. But certain states like Texas are like hell to the no. Texas is overrun with illegal immigration issues because they're so close to the border, the southwestern border, where all of those issues are at. Like, I can't even imagine. So there's a lot of tension around this issue. So I didn't even realize the DREAM Act was under siege too. So, yeah. But anyway, back to the Olympics. They're saying it's so many issues with the Olympics. Why? Like, it's time for them to be over. I don't know. I wouldn't care one way or another, to be honest with you. But these games, I think, are important to a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. I don't know how you guys feel. You can let us know.
I guess, well, I guess for the youth, I don't know. Go ahead. I lost my train of thought.
I don't think you're not invested in the Olympics. So what about you, Miss Della? Miss Della.
Yes.
Would you care one way or another if the Olympics went away?
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah. What about y'all in the chat? Who watches the Olympics? Who's invested in the Olympics? I know there's some people who look forward to the Olympics every 4 years, so they follow everything, the trials, all of that. But personally, I could take them or leave them. I think it's a good thing to have Olympics. I think it's good to see all the different countries around the nation, around the world, competing against each other in different sports and things like that. But according to this little headline, they said that there's a lot of drama behind the Olympics, bidding scandals, human rights outrages, which I think is maybe Sha'Carri's issue, overburdened host cities, rampant cheating, and a pandemic. We can't forget the pandemic. How are we going to have an Olympics with track stars and a gymnast and all these people competing? And I understand they test these people and they're probably vaccinated also. But what about the spectators? Maybe they're not going to have spectators. And what is the Olympics without spectators, aside from on TV? But in the games itself, imagine being an athlete and it's like crickets instead of all the cheers and all the, the stuff, the flowers. I don't know. Personally, like I said, I don't give a fuck. I just thought it was interesting that it was a posed question. So let me see. Scrolling, Democrats see edge in early Senate map as Trump casts a big shadow. What is this about? What's this about, Miss Della? This is like school, baby. You're going to get called out.
This is what we talking about?
Yeah. We in school, baby. You're going to get called on and called out up in here.
Yeah, I see that.
The headline says, Democrats see early edge in early Senate map as Trump casts a big shadow. And I was asking, what is that about? Do you know?
So they see what's going on with all, the CPACs and the Republicans' money donations. So they just trying to get an early edge on the 2022 midterms. That's what they doing. They trying to get an edge and trying to get a lot of money. As well as because they actually making a lot of money on the Republican side, so that's what it is.
Okay. All right. I have to log into this thing now. It's telling me to log in. How are you gonna tell me to log in? Don't let me log in. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it says 6 months into the Biden administration, Senate Democrats are expressing a cautious optimism that the party can keep control of the chamber in 2022 midterm elections, enjoying large fundraising halls and marquee races as they plot to exploit Republican retirements in key battlegrounds. So, yeah, I mean, this thing, Biden and Harris just got in the office, but we remember there's other elections that we have to keep in mind. And also 4 years goes pretty quickly. So, and they have a lot of work to do. So with that said, I'm sure that all these little fights and battles are going to keep on keeping on.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Homepage.
Well, they trying to change all of I told you, I believe there were 17 states that's trying to change voting laws. So they're trying to do everything they can to try to actually cheat.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why Democrats need money, and we need decent people. Not snake Republicans. We need decent people that's gonna be hold up to their oath. What they swore to. They supposed to work for the people, not work for themselves.
That's right. That's always been the problem, though. That's always been the problem with politics. Looking out for the best interest of the people versus the best interest of self. But that's just something to keep an eye on. If you guys aren't invested in your local politics, I suggest you at least tap in and see who's your congressperson, who's your local representative, so you can know who to raise issues to when the time comes, and just keep an eye on people and know who to vote for, who not to vote for. Like, that's the least you can do. That's the least you can goddamn do. But I'm just looking at some more headlines. They done changed on me now that I had to log in. So back to Biden, though, a lot of people are happy with Biden because they got them checks in the mail. The stimulus for the tax credits for the children's. Y'all with children's, y'all should be getting some checks, some monies every month starting this month, I believe, right?
Yeah, it was supposed to have started, I think, the 15th.
Last Thursday.
They said for people to start, I guess, checking their account and mailbox. That's what it says.
The one and only time I wish I had some young children in the house. Definitely enjoying the fact that I don't at this point, because I did earn this. Put my time in, and reaping the rewards of that time too. Got a call from the kiddo today telling me something good. It's always some good news these days. I'm gonna shout out to the kid.
Yeah.
But what else they talking about? Well, that's all, I guess. As far as the headlines go, I just want to cover some of those things. And Kamala too, she's still in hot water. I don't know if y'all remember me talking about her and being accused of having a toxic work environment. She's basically being called toxic herself. And I am not sure. I kind of feel like it's just the Republicans, you know how they do. Yeah, just complaining and being jerks, being haters. But let's see a couple of things that they're complaining about. Let me get rid of that. Let's see. Several former staffers to VP Harris echoed reporting about her office being dysfunctional. Many ex-staffers told Insider that Harris's previous officers were toxic and unpredictable. One person forwarded a report to their therapist with a note that read, "Rarely in life are we publicly vindicated." Yeah, so her former staffers are the ones that seem to be coming. It doesn't necessarily say the ones in office now, which I wouldn't see the office of people in office now because they want their jobs, right?
Right.
So I think she would be able to know who's talking. It says several former staffers to Vice President Kamala Harris were not surprised to read reports that her office, it is current office environment, is being called unhealthy and dysfunctional. A bombshell Politico report last month that described a tense workplace at the VP's White House operation spread like wildfire among former aides to Harris, many of whom recognized themselves in the story. Wow, a former Harris staffer wrote in response to a text about the article. That is quite a story. Thank you for flagging. One former Harris staffer forwarded the Politico report to their therapist, like I mentioned before, that's being repeated. Says that former staffer said they had been seeking therapy once they learned President Joe Biden picked Harris as his running mate to resolve trauma from the on-the-job abuse. Wow. Insiders Robin Bravinder spoke with 12 former Harris staffers about their office culture when Harris was San Francisco's district attorney, California's attorney general, and a U.S. senator. Several ex-staffers described Harris as unpredictable and said that she had a habit of hanging up the phone on her staff. One told Insider that the attorney general's workplace was toxic and reactionary. Some, on the other hand, expressed concerns that the narrative that Harris's office was abusive and said that they loved working for her. One person described their time in Harris's previous office as the best experience of their life. Senior advisors to the vice president have pushed back on the latest reports about her dysfunctional workplace environment. Says there, in quotes, there's not a consternation among aides. Harris's chief spokesperson, Simone Sanders, said earlier this month, That is not true. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, is it Psaki? Also dismissed the reports during press briefing on July 2nd. Of course, they're going to dismiss the reports. I feel like, let me look at her real quick. Hold on, give me a second. All right. Look, Kamala Harris is under a lot of pressure. Kamala Harris has big dreams and a big ego. She's big in confidence and she's big on her agenda. So she's somebody who she does want things her way. I feel, you know, she's not a closed off person. She's an open person, but she's just not for the bullshit and not for the dumb shit. So anybody complaining, I feel like they just can't live up to her expectations. I feel like she's somebody who holds the bar high, and that, you know, she probably gives people chance after chance, even though she has to berate them. Like, I've had this experience. I know this. Listen, I could be Kamala Harris. I'm only saying that to say this. When you're a boss, people will say you're a bitch. There are people who can't take being under a boss, because especially if she's a woman, and people get, what is the word? They don't like it. People, you know, they just don't, they start feeling away because it's like, well, who does she think she is? I could do what she's doing. You know, listen, I've had this is my story. So I'm just gonna say, take it with a grain of salt. I probably, you know, I wouldn't doubt people are complaining, but like I said, these are people who aren't holding the standard. These are people who aren't standing up to their fullest potential. You know, she's probably just pushing people to be their best self, and they're, you know, falling short. So I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt where that goes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's definitely.
I think she's overwhelmed.
That is true too. Didn't we read last week that she said she should have told Biden no when it came to the border? She should be telling him no more often. So yeah, I think being overwhelmed is definitely a thing with her. Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure to touch on that too. I don't want to seem like I'm being soft on Kamala Harris, but I do want to talk about her and keep her in our discussion, because she is our first female and of color at that vice president of the United States. Regardless of, I know there's people out there who debate whether or not she's black, but we know for sure and for certain she's not white. So we'll just say of color. I had somebody come in. I had posted something on her on my community page. Somebody commented, "She's not black." Da, 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 da. They didn't read the article or watch the video, whatever it was. They just wanted to come in and go ham on her. And I think that's unhealthy too. Like, why are you doing that? Why? Okay, so we are going to get into some R. Kelly stuff. Before we do that, real quick, since we were talking about COVID, have you guys heard of the monkeypox? It's a new thing. No? Yeah, let me find that real quick. The monkeypox, like, wow. That was right here on Gossip also. Let me find that real quick. It's a lot of stuff in the headlines. Richard Sherman was acting a fool, and they just let him right on out of jail with no bond, even though he was on video acting a good damn fool. Family or Fiance is coming back. I don't know if y'all ever watched this show, Family or Fiance, but this is a gem. I'm telling you, if you've never watched Family or Fiance, I would suggest starting. Where is the story? Now I can't find it. Oh, here it is. It says, let me pull it up actually, because y'all not gonna believe this if I didn't read it. And this is also in Texas, by the way. The headline says, "Excuse me, Texas officials confirmed the state's first ever case of monkeypox." Well, Health officials in Texas have reported that what is to believe the state's first ever case of monkeypox. According to Dallas County Health and Human Services, a resident tested positive for monkeypox after they returned from a trip to Nigeria last week. Oh, they're going to blame Nigeria on this, huh? Since testing positive, the Texas resident has since been isolated at a hospital and reportedly remains in stable condition. It says, while rare, this case is not a reason for alarm, and we do not expect any threat to the general public. Dallas County Health and Human Services is working closely with local providers as well as our state and federal partners. If y'all got to do all that, it's a problem. Something wrong. It says the DCHS says the patient had flown from Nigeria to Atlanta before reaching their final destination on July 9th when they arrived in Dallas. Now officials are working with Headlines to track down passengers and others who have been in contact with the patient during their travels. But quickly, experts say the case doesn't pose a major threat to the rest of the general public. I'm trying to figure out what is monkeypox exactly? Like, where is that at? Let me see. We have been working closely with the CDC and DSHS and have conducted interviews with the patient and the close contacts that were exposed. We have determined that there is very little risk to the general public. This is another demonstration of the importance of maintaining a strong public health infrastructure, as we are only a plane wide away from any global infectious disease. The CDC reports that the disease was first discovered in 1958 in an animal facility in Copenhagen, Denmark. The first human infection was recorded more than a decade later in 1970 in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The agency says the main disease carrier of monkeypox remains unknown, but experts believe rodents and other small mammals play a role in transmission to both humans and monkeys. But what are the symptoms? I'm sure I'm going to look into it further, but I just wanted to bring this to y'all's attention. Not to overload your virus plate, but there's something else out there called the monkeypox. FYI. So, lastly, before I get into R. Kelly, I know, Miss Della, you had asked me about Venice Beach because I know you were familiar with it. Because it had been overrun with homeless people over the years. Yeah. So this is an example. So this is just they're cleaning up. If you see on the right side, there's some police officers walking, but I haven't been to Venice Beach in some time, but the homeless situation on Venice Beach and Santa Monica, it's like Venice Beach and then to Santa Monica Beach where the pier was crazy. Like, I hadn't seen anything like it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let me see if I can find this little video real quick. To give you an idea of what it looked like. And they're finally actually cleaning it up. Those properties are expensive. So I am personally like, if I was a homeowner or property owner in those areas, I would have been one of the first ones talking to the council, whoever it is you talk to, with regard to cleaning up shop. I understand it's a sensitive issue, and I understand that, homelessness these are people. These are human beings. But at the same time, like, we are already in a pandemic. It's so just unhealthy and unclean. I mean, it's just the way they leave stuff and how stuff is. Okay, let me see. Oh yeah, while I'm looking for that, I want to show y'all this video too. I don't know if y'all saw this.
And finding attempted abduction.
This right here. This attempted abduction. I know I'm all over the place, but that's me. That's the Gemini in me. I just saw this video I forgot to share, but I want to see. Did y'all see this? As a mother, I was horrified. All right, where is it at? Share screen.
Bianca Chambers says for 2 days she tracked her stole.
Fighting attempted abduction in Queens, a little boy snatched off the sidewalk and thrown into a car. Tonight, the mother speaking out about the moment she pulled her 5-year-old son to safety in a sort of tug of war through the car's window. Eyewitness News reporter NJ Burkett is live in Richmond Hill. NJ?
Right, Shante, she says she acted entirely on instinct and did what any mother would do. No, she has no idea who these guys are or why they would want to kidnap her 5-year-old son. But they very nearly pulled it off.
Say, oh my God, my kids. Oh my God, my boys.
Dolores Diaz Lopez told us she grabbed her son and wouldn't let go. She was walking with her 3 children on Hillside Avenue at 8 o'clock last night. The entire episode captured on surveillance video. As they're walking, a man bursts out of a car and runs to the sidewalk. He grabs Dolores' youngest son, Jacob, carries him away, and literally tosses the boy into the back seat. Dolores and her other 2 children struggle through an open window, desperately trying to pull him out. And within seconds, the boy breaks free and is back in his mother's arms.
Thank God.
As the car takes off, eyewitnesses are powerless to stop it.
El instinto de madre.
A mother's instinct made me fight and act in a different way, she told us. You have to do what's necessary, no matter what. The car was just parked there, she said. I would never have imagined that a man would get out of the car and grab my son. Jacob is 5 years old and was playing video games on his phone this afternoon. But Dolores says all 3 of her children are traumatized.
Those poor babies.
And refuse to leave the house.
Las madres tienen que tener más cuidado.
Mothers have to be careful with their children, she said. Always hold their hand when walking with them.
Look at this motherfucker. Get your hands off of that child. That shit pisses me off.
The man in the white shirt is the driver.
Look at
this video before the kidnapping attempt, walking with another man, described as an accomplice.
Broke ass motherfucker.
Remained a mystery late this afternoon. Dolores says she's never seen either man before and has no idea why anyone would want to kidnap Jacob. Why? Why did they do that?
I don't know. I didn't see the face never. I don't know what happened. The people are not talking nothing. Only take my kids and put in the car.
Oh.
Well, the entire kidnapping attempt took exactly 14 seconds. This may well be job 1 tonight for Queens detectives. And of course, anybody with information that can help them track these men down is urged tonight to call the NYPD. And there is a sense of urgency about this case.
Wow. You know.
Yeah. So the good news is they got one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still looking for. I do believe they got the one that snatched the kid, but they looking for the other one.
Because you know there had to be money. There was money involved in this. Somebody wanted to buy a child.
Yep. They're getting more bold with this mess, with trying to kidnap kids and just snatching them in broad daylight, like they don't even care. That was such a close call. I know that was, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
April, nothing. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just now in the chat. Nothing's wrong with Republicans as long as you know, just like a R.I.P. Kelly supporter, as long as you're not disrespectful. What's up, Marcus X? Yeah. What's up, Hot Rod? Thank you. I appreciate you. It's been a minute. Let's see. Daddy's girl. Someone has said
right in the house.
Yeah, she is a she-roll that she saved her son. Can you imagine? I can't even imagine my son 5 years old and we're just minding our business and some motherfucker gets out and just puts his hands, tries to take him and snatch him up. See, this is when, I'm not against guns, but I'm not pro-guns, but I'm pro-guns when it's time. And that was a gun moment. He needed his head blown off for that. Like, are you serious right now?
Yeah.
Okay. I realized, some people are coming in on the replay. Some people are in the delay because I see some comments with regard to some things we talked about. But I do want to, hold on, let me just go through some of them. 2025, watch all the sheep. Yeah, you gotta watch the sheep. Truth Seeker said they are not going to tell you the truth about vaccinated people that are dying of COVID. They're just like they are not going to talk about children who died of the vax. Yeah, so I don't know if you heard that, Ms. Della. There are vaccinated people who have died and are dying also. And they're not going to publicize that like they're publicizing the unvaccinated people. Yeah, fight the power, absolutely. People have died. Blacks more are being unreported and silenced. April telling somebody to kick rocks. Kendall says R.I.P. Vapors is my favorite. Oh yeah, we're gonna go out on some biz. Maybe just a friend. You say she's just a friend. When I was at that time, I used to be like, I can't stand this. But now I appreciate it. I get it. All right.
And tell Miss April, I'm talking about snake Republicans. I'm not tearing her down before, because she's a Republican. I'm talking about snake Republicans.
Right. That's right. Because there's like any group or party, there's good and bad in both and everything,
Yeah.
Let's see. Wayne. That's right, Wayne. Mature audiences only, parental discretion, all of that. Positive vibes only, smart people only. Let's not forget that one. # smart people only and # warrior gang. Let's see.
God is done.
Yeah, we chose God. He's stupid. In a good way. Gwinnett, border babies was the tactics. Dream, act, heck no. Oh, okay. She's saying that was a tactic. It was a tactic to be able to get them in here and let them get born citizens. Because, I think at one point, once you were born here, it was like you're a citizen. And then I don't know. Yeah. Truth Seeker says she doesn't watch anymore. I guess the Olympics. And somebody's watching. Yes.
What is the reason why it's only every 4 years?
I guess so they can get ready for the next 4 years. Maybe it takes 4 years for a champ to be born. You know what I'm saying? I really don't know. But that is a good question. Maybe we have to look into that. Let's see. Someone has tested positive who is there for the Olympics. And I'm assuming these Olympic athletes are vaccinated. I'm assuming. But at the same time, I don't think they can mandate the vaccination on anybody. I don't think I haven't heard of any place, even workplaces. I mean, there might be some workplaces, but I know that there are some workplaces that are saying either you get vaccinated or there's certain modifications that are going to have to be made or something like that, or things, but not, you have to get it to stay here. I don't know. If anybody knows different, let me know. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Shiro. Definitely. So back to the lady who just saved her son. Definitely a Shiro. I just wanted to show that because I know there's a lot of young mothers out there, and you guys got to keep your eye and your hands on your kid. I used to hate those leashes. Remember the leashes? You see the leashes, the kids on leashes. But now that I think about it, honestly, who cares what people think? As long as your kid is in your hands, I used to think that was crazy, but now I'm thinking about it like that probably would not have been a bad thing. I'm just glad that this dude didn't have a weapon or he didn't do anything violent.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, sick and dirty. Because I know they was gonna sell that to a damn predator, a molester, and this is what they're doing. I heard a YouTuber talking about how the kids are no longer on milk cartons because that's actually how they were advertising the children. She said that was something that was being used as a tactic. So I hope that's not true. Carla said, hi, Carla. Welcome. Monkeypox can be transmitted to humans by an infected animal. Okay. African tree squirrels, rats, or rabbits. The disease was discovered in lab monkeys in 1958. Symptoms are fever. That's what I wanted. What were the symptoms? Fever and a swollen lymph. Interesting. Well, thank you for that. Thank you so much. I see smart people only over here.
You can learn something new every week.
Okay. She said, you have rights, they can't. Yeah, they can't mandate. Yeah, I agree with that. We have rights. Right now we have rights. I bet you right now they're working on some type of law or ordinance or whatever you want to call it to mandate vaccinations for certain things. They haven't even mandated it, as far as I know, for children at school, which I thought was kind of strange because vaccinations in general were required for enrolling your student in school or your child. So it seems that they would just add this to the list of the vaccinations that they require. But I guess at this time, you know why I guess it's not? Because it's not yet FDA approved 100%, I think. I think that's why. If I'm wrong, let me know.
Right.
Truth Seeker says, and you also get pox marks like smallpox. Oh, with the monkeypox. Ugh. Is it like monkey paws? Like a tattoo. Oh God. Too many people are dying. Oh wow. And there's a disclaimer for the vaccine that you can't sue. You can't sue if something happens. And to me, that's a red flag because, you know, they had to think ahead. And I think that was the only agreement they got from the scientists to do this thing, is to be able to be protected from lawsuits. And that is insane. That's insane. But, you know, if y'all love it, I love it. If you like it, I love it. If you love it, I like it. Whatever it is. If you want to do it, Miss Della, it's on you, baby.
What am I doing?
Well, right now you sleeping at the wheel. You know you the judge.
At the wheel.
Oh wow! I was saying that I was just talking about the vaccine because we have people in the chat saying people are dying of the vax. People are dying.
I saw that. So yes, and I think someone wrote that they're not reporting it all.
Right.
I mean, look, we gonna keep talking about this every week. I don't see you and Kim. So again, I am not going to force anybody to get vaccinated. We're going to learn more and more and more. I got vaccinated.
I thought you were offering cash apps to people. Miss Della said she gonna get vaccinated.
For what? It doesn't make a difference if giving lotteries, free bid, free movie tickets, and all that's not gonna work. What is my little baby cash app gonna do?
I thought you said you're gonna up the ante on the cash app.
Well,
you're right though.
Not when it's probably free next door to somebody's house. Absolutely not.
Well, you know, meaning to incentivize, because you know the incentives are out there for these vaccinations. Money,
exactly. And if they don't want the incentive, that means they choose not to get the vaccine.
That's true.
You're not gonna force nobody.
That's true.
Miss Della.
Miss Kim.
Did you see last week our governor out here got arrested by this guy and he came in with the bullhorn? He said the vaccination is a scam. It's killing military people.
Oh my God. No, I did not.
The governor he was like, don't listen to him, people. The vaccination is saving lives. It's 100% safe. He just don't know what he's talking about.
I'm looking up something about the sheriff here, the deputy sheriff, because I'm gonna tell you something. He's on one. Let me see if I can find it.
Who's on one?
So our LA County sheriff out here, who typically is a Class A idiot, he says, because as of midnight tonight in LA, as that video stated, the mask mandate is back reinforced inside and outside, indoors and outdoors. The sheriff, though, the sheriff of the LA County said he's not enforcing that mandate. He said this publicly. I'm not enforcing that. He said, matter of fact, I'm gonna bring it up. If you don't believe me, let me show you. Let me show you my receipts.
Show the receipt.
not backed by science. LA County Sheriff will not enforce mask mandate. Sheriff Alex Villanueva said he will not expend our limited resources to ensure residents are following the order. He instead asked for a voluntary compliance. It says that he will not enforce the reinstated indoor mask mandate because it contradicts guidelines from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. In a statement Friday, Villanueva said the department is already underfunded, and because we defunded the police, and he will not expend our limited resources to ensure residents are following the order, and he instead asked for voluntary compliance. He said forcing the vaccination and those who already contracted COVID to wear masks indoors is not backed by science and contradicts the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention guidelines, he said. He went on to say that while the County Department of Public Health has the authority to enforce the order, he encourages the agency to work collaboratively with the Board of Supervisors and law enforcement to establish mandates that are both achievable and supported by science. And they just go on to talk about how we reopened last month. Just a month ago, we reopened and took away the mask. And here we are a month later, back at it again. It says the alarming increases in cases, positivity rates, and the increase in hospitalization signals immediate action must be taken to slow the spread of COVID. Dr. Muntu Davis said in a statement, otherwise we may be quickly seeing more devastating illness and death among millions of residents. It's a long article. I mean, I'll put it in the description if anybody wants to look at it, but I just want to point out that our own sheriff, the head of the sheriff department here has said, I'm not mandating that, but I personally believe it's his own piss ass way of showing his being mad about the defunding, because they did take some funding away. The sheriffs got so much funding, and then that whole thing was going on with Black Lives Matter and wanting to defund the police, and they did take some money from them and put it somewhere else. But all I know is he mad, and he's gonna do anything he can to not do his job and be lazy. It's funny because that Venice Beach thing that I had talked to y'all about. Oh yeah, that's right. That was another thing I was gonna put. The Venice Beach, I would say war on the homeless. They said the sheriff showed up, and it's not even his jurisdiction, but he had some of his deputies show up and do some stuff over there, and him and the congressperson for the area were going back and forth. The sheriff told the congressman to get out the way. Congressman told the sheriff, if you have some solutions, bring them to the table. But all you're doing right now is just being an ass. Like it's ridiculous. I'm gonna see something here. Let's see. And we're gonna talk about R. Kelly next, in case y'all are. I know some people are waiting. Like, when's she gonna talk about that next? Let's see. Just real quick, so you can get an idea of this issue.
Welcome to beautiful Venice Beach, California. Not on a Friday, on a Thursday. So tomorrow is when they're going to clean up the beach. But today, they brought in this green machine. Let's check it out.
So St. Joseph sent out those containers, which looks like a trash can.
They are trash cans.
Those are actually storage containers.
Those are trash cans.
They're cleaning them up right now. And if you're homeless, you can bring your stuff here. And they put it in one of those containers. They have a lock on there, if you can see. So they lock it up for you. And then they storage everything in the van.
So all the homeless people on the beach, they're going to give them a storage container, which is really a trash can. And they're going to give them a key and like some type of a ticket, like when you do a coat check and they give you a ticket with a number on it. They're going to give this to homeless people who typically have mental issues, who can't keep their lives in order. You want them to keep up with the key and a ticket to their belongings. And where are you taking the stuff? Like, this thing is just something wrong with this.
And it's going to be here for a couple months.
I know, but this, I mean, in my opinion, My opinion is it could my way might be worse in some people's eyes. I just feel like they
Those
just
are
need to throw it.
trash cans.
They need to throw
Yeah.
it all in the garbage. They need to just throw
Those are
everything in the
trash
trash.
cans.
I know, but they're saying they're using them as storage containers for these people. They're going to give them a key. They're going to give them a ticket so they can reclaim their stuff. These people aren't going to do that, and we know that. They're not going to find where they're going to.
Lose it.
They're going to lose it. And why don't they just throw it all away? Like, they have been warning these people and warning these people and warning these people. They should have just said, look, if your stuff is still here by this date, it's going away. Because this right here, to me, is a waste of resources. We're paying for this. This is taxpayers' money. These are brand new shiny trash cans. The ones we have here ain't don't look that good. They need to be giving these to the residents, and they need to collect the ones over here, the raggedy ones, and give them those. I'm just like, my thing is, okay, let me scroll forward to showing the actual beach and like the people. Okay, first of all, let's show this.
So this is everything that has to be cleaned up tomorrow.
People would literally live. So Venice Beach, if you've never been to Venice Beach, it's beautiful. It was. I think there is going to be again, but at one point, it's just a beautiful landscape where people come, tourists come, because there's a boardwalk area, a length of maybe a couple miles of shops, restaurants, all kinds of stuff, like, and then there's people who have their own, like me, I do tarot. There's a lot of tarot readers and people who sell crystals and, sage and probably weed, but all that. Also, people have like, they used to have a seller's permit to have a table set up. But at some point, it just got overrun with a homeless population. And the whole thing just got muddled with tents and tarps. And then next thing you know, there's people pissing and shitting. And the restaurants and stuff, like, what were they supposed to do? Like, how can they continue to conduct business? But this has been years of this.
St. Joseph Center Outreach Team is here today, still signing on people for housing.
Look at all these people lined up.
They're giving out free food today.
For free food.
People are lining up. Showers and free socks. Everything had to be removed already since last week, but I think today they start enforcing something. This guy's about to get housing from what I see, so I guess he was telling him what they can take. With all the tents on the border, Venice Beach and Santa Monica.
Look, this is prime real estate in LA. Venice Beach, and these people who have been just tying their tents to a tree and living for free on one of the most beautiful places in this state. Maybe, I don't know, in the country, but Venice, like, hell, if I would have known these people were getting away with living like this for free, I would have maybe bought me a tent my damn self and parked out there. Not to say I would have gave up my place, but I would say that maybe I would have a vacation home on Venice Beach. I would have had a tent set up and been able to wake up there on the weekends. Look at that view. Like, are you serious right now? For free? Where can you do that? Nowhere. But,
Hawaii is just as bad.
Yeah, Hawaii. It's funny. I had a text from a friend today telling me they saw some flights to Hawaii for under $300 round trip, by the way. I think it was United. And I jumped up because I'm like, I've been trying to go for like at least a year. But Hawaii is also reporting over to what they're calling over tourism. They're being overrun with tourism. They're complaining because now everybody's back able to travel and be out and about and go places without having to quarantine. They're getting out and about, using that unemployment and them stimulus checks and all that other stuff. But I just want to show that to say, don't come to LA if you ain't got no money. It is expensive to live here. Do not do it. I understand you have dreams. You want to act. You want to sing. You want to do this. You want to do that. Guess what? We have the internet now. The internet, it goes all over the world. Start there. Don't just come out here with a what is that? What is that? A handkerchief on a stick with your snacks on it and a dream. It's not gonna work. Sorry, it's not, because it's gonna be a hard road.
Well, I wanted to come down to I wanted to be a rock star. I was gonna come down to Sunset Boulevard.
Well, you come for the Rockstar concert, maybe the after party, but you don't stay your life. You don't just live here because of the Rockstar concert. unless the Rockstar chooses you and takes you on tour with him or whatever happens. If you want to be a groupie, that's what you do. Don't come trying to move to LA is all I'm saying. We got enough cuckoo birds and craziness going on out here. A lot of these homeless people are mentally ill, though. That's the whole point. Mentally ill and people who really just want to buck the system. I know there's a lot of smart people who are homeless, or they call them the unhoused. The unhoused people are not always, people want to underestimate these people. These people, we have smart people out here on these streets. And, I would just say that there's a lot of help that needs to be given with regard to mental health mental health assistance. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a majority of the problem. And the other majority of the problem are people coming out here trying to be stars. Don't do that. That might have been good in the 50s and the 60s, but no. All right. So, R. Kelly. Man. So there's been some new happenings in the case. Go ahead. Speak on your piece.
No, I just love to sketch.
What?
I just love to sketch. The artist.
Oh, the sketch. Yeah. It's a good artist. Before we get into R. Kelly, real quick, related to R. Kelly, remember we talked about Rashana Landfair's father, Greg Landfair Sr., passed away. I'm still waiting on any information having to do with why, but what I do have is this message. This was, I think, on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. I can't remember. It says, for those that came out Thursday and witnessed the incredible band that played with me on stage, my deepest condolences to the family and friends of Greg Landfair, the guitar player that played with me on Thursday in Addison. Passed away Monday morning all of a sudden. That was my first time meeting and performing with Mr. Landfair, and as you all witnessed, he was very talented guitar player. Rest in peace, Greg, your brother in music, Ollie. All of a sudden, do you hear that? He was just playing in a band the Thursday prior to his death. So we want to know what happened to this prime star witness in this upcoming trial. What happened to this man in his 50s? He just died. I mean, and I'm not gonna lie, as you can tell, these aren't recent pictures, but I think that man might have posted a more recent picture, and I think he was a lot slimmer, but he don't look like he's in good health here, at least.
Nope.
So I don't know if it was his health or what the issue was, but we also know that when it comes to this guy and his cases, there's a lot of funny business with regard to that. And to corroborate that fact, I have pulled some paperwork. So there's been some filings in the case, the New York case. One of them led me to go dig up some information from a previous filing. And what I came up with, so let me just go back. So as we know, R. Kelly has a new attorney, Deborah O'Canick, and that his office submitted another status report on the 15th of July, just 2 days ago. And I'll just read it. It says, Dear Judge Donnelly, on July 12, 2021, the court issued an order stating the court directs Metropolitan Detention Center, the MDC, to ensure that the defendant is able to meet with his counsel in a private room at the MDC. Now, if you guys recall the last live, I talked about how the government gave some visiting hours for the lawyers that weren't accurate. Because of that, they sent a status report to the judge. In the meantime, the prosecution, the feds had said basically that the information was misinformation and was from the prison. The prison officials had since corrected the hours, and they provided that information to the defense attorneys, and that there was no reason to do, to give an order for this. But the judge did it anyway, because I'm just thinking she just doesn't want any problems, and she doesn't want to look like, that she's in a part of the problem. So with that said, they went back to visit after all of this was said and done, and I guess there still were issues. So this is what this status report is. It goes on to say the MDC will ensure that these meetings can take place as frequently and as the defendant and his counsel request, and for the duration of that defendant and his counsel request within normal visiting hours. Defense counsel is directed to inform the court without delay if they face difficulties booking or having client visits. In accordance with the court's directive, we are writing to inform the court that the defense counsel continues to encounter multiple obstacles in our efforts to prepare for trial with our client. And I'm going to just stop here and say, of course, they're going to report multiple obstacles, because I think at the end of the day, even though the only extension they got was about a 9-day extension or so, they wanted more. And I think they are continuing to press the issue because they still want him out. They want him to be free before trial. They want him to be out, and they want him to be able to meet with them on their own terms, which can't be the case if he's in prison, if he's in jail. Is someone going to say something?
No.
Oh, okay. So it goes on to say, these are bullet points. We need to be able to review the enormous amounts of discovery. I keep repeating that because there's people out here on these YouTube streets who have channels that support R. Kelly. The reason they have a channel is to support R. Kelly. So it doesn't surprise me that they gaslight people. They kind of celebrate things that really aren't to be celebrated. And I want to just say the fact that his attorney calls the amount of discovery enormous, that anybody who supports this man needs to understand that he has mountains and mountains of evidence against him. It says, today we are unable to bring binders, which were full of discovery materials, into the MDC. It says we have been denied access with the necessary tools to assist us in having meaningful, productive meetings with our client. For example, we are not allowed to bring highlighters, sticky notes, markers, etc. Although these things may seem trivial to most, when preparing for trial of this magnitude without these requests, allow a nearly impossible situation even more impossible. So here we are again, calling this thing impossible, and now it's more impossible. I don't know how more impossible you can get than impossible, because impossible is pretty much it says in itself it's impossible, which it's not impossible, because if it was impossible, then I'm sure the judge would make a certain allowances. Now we have to realize that R. Kelly is not the only man in jail. He is not the only man in jail pre-trial. He is not the only man in jail pre-trial having to meet with his attorneys and maybe not able to have certain allowances with these meetings. So you can't single him out because he's R. Kelly. But let me go on. It says we are allowed to bring in a computer, but not the charging cord that goes with it. If we are visiting for longer than 4 hours, presumably the computer will be dead and of no use. Not to mention, we have no internet access while meeting with our client. All the discovery and 3,500 materials for this case have been provided to the defense via external hard drives. So let's clear that up for people who want to say they never gave them the materials. They never gave them the discovery. Well, here they are admitting they do have everything. They have the hard drives, they have the paper. They said they have binders. So binder says paper. So why are you saying that everything has been provided via hard drives? It says we are not able to bring the government's provided external hard drives into the MDC. Without the internet, it is impossible to have all the government's disclosure available for review while meeting with our client. And I'll stop to say this. You guys have had 2 years. That discovery, I read the outline of the discovery, or one of the outlines earlier on. Like, I'm talking 2019, some point. Like, why is it that this is the first time we're meeting these challenges when you guys have been meeting with him? I know Becker, old Tricky Nikki, has been meeting with him, as well as Greenberg and Leonard. They, why is this issue, why are these issues just now coming to the forefront? That's what the problem is. Nobody has been doing their job, and they want to wait until the last minute to try to say that we don't have this and we can't do that. And I mean, it's late in the game for this stuff. It's very amateur hour-ish.
Yeah.
It says, not to mention, okay, let's see. If the government were required to prepare for this case without their computers, internet, iPads, tablets, and phones, perhaps we would have no room to notify this court of our concerns. However, that is clearly not the case, because that would handicap the government just like it's handicapping us now. Lastly, Mr. Kelly suffers from diabetes. So here we go again with them telling us he has diabetes. The first time we learned of his pre-diabetes was in one of the motions they submitted to the court to give him an early dismissal or pretrial emergency dismissal. They said he had pre-diabetes. Now he seems to have full diabetes, which probably is because of his own eating habits and non-exercising and the stuff, all the stuff he was supposed to do. He didn't do it. Now I know he's in jail and they don't have, it's not like he's going to Whole Foods to go shopping and, I get that he has probably packaged foods and this and that, but I'm pretty also sure there's things you can do, because he went from bad to worse from what it sounds like. And I'm sure his mental state has a lot to do with that.
They haven't provided no kind of medical records to back that up.
I don't know. And I don't know if they've submitted anything. There's been some sealed filings that we don't know what's in. We don't know what's in those sealed filings. So one of the sealed filings could say that the man, could show that he has it. I don't think they do. But it says here that he anticipated spending numerous hours with us. There are no vending machines available in the visiting room. He was denied the right to bring down a candy bar, which would prevent him from having a diabetic episode. Okay, So he couldn't bring down a candy bar, but could you have brought him one, possibly? I'm thinking maybe you could have brought him one. And I'm thinking maybe the hours that he's spending with you, that he would just have to deal with it. Maybe you could have gave him a chocolate milk. I mean, I'm sure there are so many other things that, we could address here. But the fact that he couldn't bring a candy bar down, he's in jail. What do you think? What is this?
Well,
it's not.
First of all,
like a child getting dropped off at daycare.
Right.
He's not the only person in jail with diabetes.
That's, you know what? I can't.
Welcome, Sharia Buckner. I hope I said that right. Sharia or Sheree. Let me just look in the chat real quick. Make sure, because I'll be missing stuff. All right. So there was a hearing on the 15th, the same day that was filed, actually. And from what I understand, the judge let the defense know that they could use the courtroom to meet with him instead of the jail's facility. So hopefully that helps. Truth Seeker said, did the artist capture R. Kelly's balding spot on the back of his head? They said he looked run down. I don't know where the article, if anybody has the article or any recap of that hearing, let me know. All I could find was some things on Twitter, which I'll pull up. We're back on vaccines. Kendall says universities are mandatory vaccines or you have to provide a signed waiver. Okay, I'm thinking if you can't show a vaccine card that maybe a negative test would suffice in a lot of cases, you would probably have to test and test and test every time you have to show a negative test somewhere because they want it to be recent. You can't show a negative test and it's a month old. You can get COVID the very next day. So that's like a friend of mine trying to come over here, or ex-friend, trying to come over here. I'm like, you ain't coming over nowhere. I said, if you come over here, I need a fresh COVID test, meaning today, the day. The time needs to be recent. You couldn't have had time to even pass another soul. That's what I'm saying. What are some of the other things we heard about this hearing that took place? I know that we heard that the marshals came in and they mandated to his DNA. They wanted DNA from Sylvester.
Yes.
This one of the YouTubers I heard talking about this said, this means they lied in the first place. They said they had his DNA in the discovery. Didn't they say they had the DNA? Oh, they lied. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, just because they're requesting DNA currently doesn't mean they lied about having it previously or have some proof of something. All this means to me is that they wanted to, it's what it sounded like based on what was filed in Pacer is that they had a previous order for it. It was a sealed order and the government had requested to unseal the order to provide it to the defense so they could show that they had already ordered this. So apparently the marshals came to get this DNA from him. The prosecution refused it. I'm sorry, not the prosecution, the defense. The defense had refused it on his behalf, but then the judge read the order and granted it because there's an order. Yeah. So I feel like they might have wanted his DNA to have a fresh sample. Maybe they want to prove it's really him under that mask.
Right.
How many black men are in jail? R. Kelly, as much as some of y'all love him and think he's the greatest and the hottest, he kind of looked like an average black man, especially up under that mask and after being in jail for 2 years. So maybe they did want to make sure it's really him.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he has a habit of trying to get away with shit.
Yeah.
Remember that mask, that $40,000 mask he had made?
Oh my God. I was
Yeah.
that 40,000. I would have.
Yeah.
Oh Lord have mercy. That was such an amateur man.
That is a horrible drawing of him.
You think it's horrible? I think it looks just like him.
He looked like sugar with shit.
He looks like shit. He has a beard. He got a beard under there too, I see. Did he have a beard before? Yeah, I guess he did, huh? I didn't remember. Look at Nicole's Tricky Nikki's old straggly ponytail.
Struggling.
Her struggle tail. So he did confirm that he was vaccinated. I understand that. And what else did they say? They said that the judge reprimanded Tricky Nikki a couple of times because she kept referring to Joycelyn and Azriel as the girls. See, because I guess they were trying to settle whether or not her role is a conflict of interest or not. Because if you recall, she was in, let me pull some up, show you something real quick. She was holding Joycelyn and Azriel's hand during the time before he was locked up, or actually I think even after he was locked up. She was shown with them at court and all that stuff all the time. So they're saying, so I think he was actually the one to confirm that he was okay with her being on the case still. Yeah, he said he's fine with her. He said it was just rumors that she was there was a conflict. He called it rumors. We know he likes to say everything is a rumor.
Right.
Okay, let me look. There's something I want to show. Okay, I'm getting this from this chick. This chick.
And she just can't help herself. I know that she got on Judge's nerves. And probably, boy,
I'm looking for some footage real quick.
Judge Donnelly here.
Judge Donnelly, they said she was short with her a couple times. Says to me, she really don't like that lady. She probably heard about her. She probably already knows about her reputation. She probably already knows that she's, you know, a cokehead. No, let me stop.
Yep.
Allegedly.
Woo, she took all the Illuminati powder, all of it.
Dang, I really can't find.
Father's in there, Your Honor. Robert.
Yeah, I can't find the footage now, but basically I'm trying to steal it off this lady's channel. A View from Tracy's Point. I'll shout her out. You know, A View from Tracy's Point. This woman, I think she was against him initially, and I don't know if she's for him now, but she's very much neutral, which could be why she has very much surpassed me by at least 3,000 subscribers at this point. And her views are up too on mine, I'll have to say.
She could have paid
maybe. I don't know. I don't think maybe. I just say, I look at that to say, man, maybe if I change my stance, my number's gonna go up. But we all know I'm not here for the numbers. I'm gonna look in one more place for this footage I want to show. Tricky Nikki.
Tricky Nikki.
I can't find it. I guess it's not meant for me to play. So, yeah, because I did do a screen record off of her channel, but I didn't send it to myself, so to put up here. But anyway, all that to just show that different times, because there was different news clippings, I guess, with her in the footage with the girls. She kept calling them the girls in court. And they said that Judge Ann told her they're women, and they were women. And she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was used to calling them that, or something like that." And she said they were women at the time of the filing of the case too. Now, one of the YouTubers got excited about that because she felt like the judge was making a stance against calling them girls for R. Kelly's benefit. I don't think that was the case. I think she was being respectful of the women, to call them women, and just being respectful of that as a woman. Like, they're not girls, they're women. Not to say that they weren't girls when your client did what he did, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about today. So, I know another thing that took place during that hearing is that Greenberg and Leonard were officially removed from the case. So they're out. So right now we have what's his name? Canick, Devereaux Canick. And then we also have, it seems, a brand new attorney coming on board, because that was another filing here. Let me find that real quick. And this one is: to the clerk of this court, enter my appearance as counsel on behalf of Robert S. Kelly, and his name is Calvin H. Scholar, Esquire. Let me see if I can pull him up. Calvin H. Scholar. So there's another attorney on the team. Calvin Scholar. Let's see. Calvin Scholar, attorney. There's his LinkedIn. He's a New York attorney. Okay. Calvin Scholar handles cases in criminal defense, construction and development construction and development, and has an office in New York. Attorney, attended University of Texas School of Law and has been licensed for 25 years. Let me see if there's a picture of him. Says they're accepting new clients. Let me see if there's a picture. Images. Oh. Okay, brother. I think he's a brother. I can't show y'all the LinkedIn because it pulls up my personal LinkedIn.
Okay.
Let me find another picture though. There's one picture here, and he looks like a distinguished black man, bald with like a white beard. But it looks like he doesn't like a lot of press because there's not a lot of him as far as images. Okay. What else can we find? Let me find something here.
Oh, did they say Chicago saying the trial date in Chicago because they don't have anything?
You said something about the trial. I know that the Illinois trial date has been the state, because the state trial date was set for September, I think the 19th or something like that. They have canceled. They canceled that date.
Yeah.
There was a hearing in Illinois also, and Lennon Weber said that they're basically keeping an eye on the New York case before deciding how to move forward with Illinois or when to move forward. Now, I did hear people who support R. Kelly on YouTube saying the judge basically was like, well, we don't even know if we're going to continue this. That's not true. I know he couldn't have said that because these are separate cases. You can't, one judge he's not going to base his case on this case. You can't base everything. You're not going to just dismiss the case based on the New York case. It's a whole different case.
Right.
So that's just false celebration and false, again, gaslighting people. I think these people just like to get these people's, get them emotionally tricked. They trick these people emotionally, and what they do is they set a tone for their channel. When you come here, you're gonna get news about Robert. You're gonna come here, you're gonna get good news. We're gonna uplift you. We're gonna make you feel good. So that's all that is. It's manipulation, and it's really sad. So I'm just was looking up some stuff on this new guy. I'm gonna look up some stuff and come back because I don't want to waste any time on it here. But yeah, he does have a new attorney. Looks like he's a black man. So he got two brothers, and then Tricky Nicky and Farinella, the stutterer, on his Farinella. Okay, Miss Della said her iPad died. She's coming back. Didn't even know that she was gone, girl. I'm just messing with you. All right, so what I wanted to say though about R. Kelly, because this is not his night. It's Saturday night. We don't do R. Kelly on Saturday night, but I just wanted to give the updates. So those are the updates. Aisha Stockton, welcome back. You missed the whole live, child. We 2 hours in. I didn't realize we've been here 2 hours.
I know.
Wow.
Hey, look, I'm right.
Okay, let me go on the chat. I'm missing some stuff here. What's up, Queen Keith? Welcome back.
Welcome.
All right. Let me go back up here. Okay, so we're back on some COVID talk here. Vax is not mandatory. Nope, not in the schools. And if it was, you can get a waiver. Okay, that's good to know. I need to get a waiver, by the way. Her and Truth Seeker, I guess they're in a little bit in the replay. Now you have got to have an HIV test and COVID test before you can date. That's right. That's exactly right. Negative test, yeah. I thought I was for the Joe case. They needed to see if his DNA was on the shirt. that could be the case that they wanted the DNA for that. I think the point that was made was that they supposedly had already corroborated that that was his DNA. But if they're doing that currently, if they're doing that now, again, I feel like, wouldn't it be smart to get fresh DNA? Yeah. That's what I think. Yeah. I mean, it's a, you know, he probably already had his DNA on file from before, on record somewhere, in wherever. But
they
for this new,
wasn't nothing rigged and dumbed down and painted.
Right, got to make sure that it's him. First of all, like I said, we wearing masks. He's been transferred from Chicago to New York. I mean, they might be trying to pull a switcheroo on us here, and you know, because he likes paying people off to take his place. Don't forget, he tried to get his brother to take his place around the first indictment.
Right.
So, you know, we got to keep these things in mind. Let's see. We got somebody in here named However. Welcome. And they said that R. Kelly, you still look good. Y'all do not look good. Y'all not jail. What y'all excuse? Okay, Tyson.
Right.
That's what you sound like. Because we know he be coming over here disguised and shit.
Tyson, what up, though?
Right. After R. Kelly made that sex tape with the 14-year-old girl and got off, I knew Chicago was corrupt. That's right. Yep. Is the DNA for the JP case to see if it's on his shirt? It could be for a number of reasons. It could be to corroborate what they already have. It could be just to confirm again, like I said, that it is him underneath that mask and all the shuffle. Because they're not with him. The lawyers aren't with him. You know, and we're trusting guards in Chicago to transfer the proper person. Who knows who, you know, who, we don't know who's still in his pockets in Chicago. We don't know who might be friends, a Stan, a family member. We don't know in Chicago.
Right.
So, yeah, it could be all of the above. But I do know that
those STDs, early Christmas and birthday gifts, you pass it out.
Right. Exactly. The DNA could be to test that too.
Mm-hmm.
So the government did file, the judge gave a stipulation and an order on, what date is this? Do I have the date on here?
They probably
okay.
Come on.
Okay. These are these are older documents that I have pulled. So I have pulled these orders because they were related to the order that just came down the other day. The filing that came down the other day mentioned docket 21 and that they were unsealing that. They were unsealing some things to give to the defense. So I went back to docket 21, and it was a stipulation and an order. And one of them says to be filed under seal. I don't know why it says to be filed under seal, and they have the whole thing here. But basically, it's from the Department of Justice, and it's from back in October of 2019, right around, you know, when he was first trying to get his first bail and all that, or, you know, the second, I think the second bail, because the first bail was like right away that they denied. So this letter, this is actually a bail, opposition to a bail release or pretrial release from 2019. And I pulled this because it had a lot of details as to why they didn't want him out. And I think this was the first opposition to his bail that we had seen from the government. So a lot of the things in here were like, what? Some stuff is redacted. Yeah, a lot of the stuff actually is redacted in here, blacked out. So just remember, a lot of things that are coming to light in the trial, we don't have a clue about at this time. A lot of discovery that is being presented in the trial, or will be presented and has been presented to the defense. We don't know anything about it as the public. So people are walking around here as if they know all about the case and they have it all decided because of, or I'm going to say his innocence decided because the things that they know about, they don't find sufficient. They think it's bullshit. They think the indictments are bullshit. But I'm going to say, legally, he would not be able to be held in jail for 2 years without substantial evidence backing the accusations, as well as the fact that he is believed to be a threat to society. He is believed to be a flight risk. He, you know, all of the things the government is charging the judge and the magistrate judge actually agreed to, and basically gave a permanent order of pretrial detention in the first place.
Right.
So all that to say, don't be out here clicking your heels up in the air thinking this man is about to get out, thinking this man is about to be free. You know, they've been to let him out. No, don't get yourself disappointed unnecessarily. I think you just, you know, people out here supporting him. And I'm addressing this because these people come to my channel and my comments and tell me I'm biased. They tell me I'm part of the setup. What was the last thing? I think that was the latest one, actually. And I get that all the time. Oh, you're part of the setup. I'm not a part of any setup. And let's just say there is no setup. He set himself up. And we're going to say also that the things that happened that are on record for decades, 3 decades at least, against children are disgusting. Pissing inside of a 14-year-old girl's mouth on camera while having sex with her in both or all 3 holes. And I'm just like, just having her be called too grown and too much of a pro to be believed to be a 14-year-old says that he groomed her to do that. He trained her, or somebody did. And that wasn't her first time around that rodeo when she was on that camera. And the fact that there are four tapes, different ones. Well, there were 3, and then they were chasing one. I don't know if they got that final one. They knew about it, and I know they were looking for it. So I don't know if they have it, but I know they have 3 different tapes, proof, videotapes of him having sex with underage girls. And on top of that, that's the start. That's just the start. So I'm just bringing all that up to rain on your parade, basically. If you walking around here trying to have a parade for this man, champion this man, cheerleading this man, because you think that he's being punished unduly, unfairly, he's being unjustly held, and all of that. I just really, I feel very sad for anybody who is so invested in R. Kelly to that point. They don't know him. This man has a bad reputation. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play something else real quick. Let me play something. Play some audio. I'm hoping I can play this because I'm just gonna go ahead. I usually don't like to play unless it's the news, but I'm gonna share this real quick. I don't know who y'all are familiar with Michi X. You familiar with Michi X? Talking to you, beautiful spirit. Can you hear me? Oh, you on mute. Okay, never mind. Okay. So there was a debate, and this is when he was around the time he was, this is actually before his federal arrest. But they had a debate, and there was some things that Michi said that I think are well being replayed here. So let me start this off.
Dillard. She is a speaker, an activist, and a contributor on the Fly Nubian Queen Network. And we also have Michi X here with us. She is also an activist and a former contributor on the Fly Nubian Queen Network. So before we get into our debate, I want to take a moment to give you all the rules. We are going to, since the judiciary is...
We're going to skip the rules. Hold on.
Anybody, a scapegoat.
Okay, let me go back.
The idea of white supremacy having its play in this position as well, or in this issue as well. And Amichi's position is that the community has been vocal. You know, there's segments of our community that have said, hey, we need to stop supporting R. Kelly. All of us may not have been listening, but the brothers have been saying, people have been saying it. And then she's also saying that she thinks that it's something additional that some of our brothers in the community are participating in such behavior. They have young girls that they're entertaining and doing inappropriate things with. And so that may be leading to why they're kind of protecting R. Kelly in some of these situations. So I want to give Vicky an opportunity to respond in our next round, which will be now 3 minutes. So we are moving into our last 2 rounds, which are 3 minutes, to respond to what Michi may have said originally, because I know your position is, you know, that it is this is more about white supremacy.
Wait, I actually passed what I want to play for her. Well, let me just move up to Vicky to Michi's point.
Society, regardless of race, and draw those parallels today. As someone that has spent approximately 4 years in federal prison, I know too well that I saw buck breaking right before my eyes with the prison culture, even amongst the women, in terms of them taking on masculine behaviors and what we are.
Okay, I want to say this about Vicky Dillard. Vicky Dillard is, you know, she is on the Fly Nubian Queen Network. She and Michi actually are big advocates for the Black community on different issues. I think Vicky's stance on R. Kelly is that the white supremacists are trying to break us, and they're going to do it however they can. I think Michi is just about like getting all pedophiles and predators straightened out in our households, and that's how the R. Kellys can be dealt with in the long run. I think she does, you know, stand with victims and survivors in this situation.
So-called gay for the sake. We also understand the prison culture of the sagging that has its origins in prison, but we also know of the diabolical and repeated and widespread rape, especially of Black men in prison. So buck breaking is alive and well. And just like we understand that slavery never ended, when we talk about on our platforms that the 13th Amendment had an exception for the conviction of those in prison, and that is still alive and well. The folks love to say, oh, slavery was way back then. Buck breaking has happened here and now. So that's the purpose of me bringing those things up as well. In terms of when are we going to start holding folks in the community accountable, I don't think I need to say too much more about that, because Sister Rashida specifically mentioned some of the very things I talked about when I talked about the 10,000 fearless that other folk in the community could be a part of. One of the things, Sister Rashida, that we can do to assist in the 10,000 fearless is by doing what we're doing today. Say these organizations are doing this. These organizations have remedies. They are serving to police their own communities. Dope busters, as men of the Nation of Islam were known for decades ago, were stopped by the U.S. Senate when they were stopping their dollars from going into neighborhoods where they were showing statistically that drug numbers were decreasing, that crime was decreasing. And so they are re-emerging, and they're doing even more now. So one of the things we can do to make that real is by highlighting these programs and saying, hey, that you can connect with them, and you don't have to be a member of the Nation of Islam to participate in the 10,000 fearless. Again, there is no justifying R. Kelly's behavior. I am totally in agreement with Michi on that point about holding him accountable. I have just said before, and I don't want anybody to miss my point. I said that we are so inextricably connected with white supremacy that we still have to deal with the judiciary. I said we still have to deal with law enforcement. So I understand on some things that we do have to use their systems, but we need to be wise about it. We need to be selective about it, and we need to start using our voice, and we need to start using our power, and we need to start using such programs as 10,000 Fearless to begin to combat those things and to begin to heal our own people and deal with our own people, including those that intentionally choose to do this type of behavior, we'll deal with them accordingly. There is absolutely no excuse. If I still have another moment or two here, I want to also say, in the same way that we didn't know until after the fact that it was the hand of the U.S. government that was trafficking in crack cocaine and heroin, that were creating circumstances in the Black community. In the same way, we did not know that while we were standing on the front line for civil rights, they were in a lab to test Black folk. The same with our open enemies. They're looking and they're testing and they're doing things for a reason long before we know it. Okay, so Michi, I will give you an opportunity in your last 3 minutes to respond to Vicky's rebuttal to what you had to say, and also again, if you can also include what are some of the things that you think that we can do to now stop making this whole idea of us policing our community and taking control of our communities just something that we talk about, or something that's said in theory, or just kind of fantasizing about what we should see and do in our community, but actually make real. And I will let you go, and your time starts now.
I wanted to say again that we have to start walking in reality and not fantasy, because we can't talk about the Nation of Islam and then helping gang members and comparing that to rapists. Okay, because in any civilization you live in, if it was an all-Black Wakanda and we had a prison, we would probably still put the rapists in there. So I don't see any way that Black people in the community can deal with a rapist if you don't have a jail to put him in. Because sitting him down and having conversations doesn't seem to be a fair way of dealing.
I'm gonna say thank you, Michi, for that. She's basically like, look, you can have your programs, you can have your this, your that, but at the end of the day, a rapist needs to go to jail. And that's what she's saying, and I'm gonna just play a little bit more here.
Versus sitting down and trying to stop the violence when it comes to gang members. So I think that's a little different. We need to understand that in society, regardless of race or anything else, there are times when certain crimes warrant you going to jail, right? And that's what rape does. I would also like to say that if R. Kelly was to go to prison and get raped, I would actually consider that to be justice. Right? It's unfair when you go to jail and you haven't hurt anybody and you sold drugs and then you get raped or you get killed in prison because the punishment you paid was too big for the crime that you committed. But so what if R. Kelly got raped in jail? He's been raping people for forever. So I want to say that I think R. Kelly is a bad example when we want to talk about white supremacy and taking Black men down. There are certain cases you can use to exemplify that, and I just think that this is a poor example of it. And I just want to, if anything I can leave with the last word of that is that I think that it's a bit careless of some of us in the community, because as a sexual assault victim myself, even people in my family, my child, which if you watched me, I spoke on. If somebody was to come to me and say that we got her attacker or my attacker and they were facing justice to go to jail, I would be really offended if somebody came to me or was talking about, well, it's wrong, but let me tell you how this is white supremacy talk, and we have to make sure that we don't allow them to use this for this thing. It is very disheartening, very disconcerting, and very disrespectful to the victims. This is not the right case to be using as an example of white supremacy. This is the one that we just shouldn't do that with, because it's disregarding to the Black girls.
Oh, shit.
And you can't disregard our girls for the sake of one man because we want to scream white supremacy. Because with white supremacy or not, he belongs in jail. And I'm tired of people saying, well, let our own communities deal with this. If you murder somebody, you should go to jail. If you rape somebody, you should go to jail. So if Black people don't have jails to put people in, it's one thing in dealing with things in our community and policing ourselves, so we don't have to call the cops for every little thing, like when brothers are on the corner, or when girls are out there fighting, or when somebody's selling drugs. Maybe we can deal with them and get those things to change. But we're not going to act like every crime is not heinous and some don't deserve to be served. And I just think this is a bad case. And I'll end with this. I do want to see white people go to jail for all of the shit they've been doing. But as a person who cares about Black people first, let me give you another twist. I would rather see R. Kelly get the hell out of our communities and stop terrorizing our Black girls before I see the Captain Priest go to jail and save all those white kids that they molested. Yeah. You can send them to jail, but that ain't helping our children. Sending R. Kelly to jail is helping our girls. So this is a poor example of white supremacy. We should just wait for another case and not use this one at all.
That's it. That's what I want to say. I really want to share that her point was really on point. She cares about the Black community so much. She preferred R. Kelly's ass in jail before the priest. because the priests ain't messing with young black girls. Right? So that is her point. And with that, I agree. Like she said, R. Kelly is one of so many in the households around the world here. Not just in America, but all over the world. Is that what's going on, Miss Kim? I mean, so beautiful. Beautiful spirit.
Oh, I was texting my brother back. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. I was hearing a little feedback.
Oh,
Okay, so
okay, I'm sorry.
all good. So I don't know, y'all. It's some back and forth going on about voting and voting counting, but I think we have. Do we have a troll in here? So political legacy. Let's see. That isn't good when your vote doesn't matter anymore, and don't tell me what to do. You're uneducated, like I said. Come correct. What the? First of all, hello, political legacy. You came in after we discussed politics, but let me see what you're talking about here, because I don't really like the tone calling people uneducated up in here. This is a smart people only platform. I guess I missed. So you're talking to April. She said, if you're blocked from being able to vote, then you should not vote. Use your brain when dealing with me. Okay. Political says, Republicans are trying to make it hard for new voters to vote. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. So you're talking about the new voting legislations that are being signed into law, I'm thinking, because there are definitely some blocking trying to take place, that are happening. I think so. April Dent, you stated before you were a Republican, and I'm thinking that because this person is saying Republicans are trying to do this, that you're saying no, or that, maybe that's why you're going against. But it is true that some voting laws are being challenged. Miss Della?
Miss Della.
That is correct.
Okay.
There's numerous states, right, that's trying to do everything they can to make it harder for black and brown people to vote. And
so that is a fact.
Some of these states are states that Republicans won. So if you won those states, what are you afraid of? Why would you try to make it hard for people to vote? Everybody's vote should count.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's vote should definitely count. I'm not sure what the argument is, but JC, what's up? JC said, I was a Republican. I left my party. Yeah. Listen, there's some Republican, what do I want to say? There are some things about being a Republican I can understand what people like about it. They don't like government involved in a lot of stuff. They don't want the government in their business. They want to take advantage of probably some of the things, like the Trump had a lot of tax laws and things that, people could probably take advantage of. There's a lot of different things that are Republicans, what is the word I want? Politics, I guess, that is understandable.
Yeah.
So, that's the only thing that he did do, give tax breaks for the rich. He didn't get rid of Obamacare. He didn't build the wall. All these promises that he said he was going to do, he didn't. That's because his whole 4 years lies. Now, my husband and his are on Republican.
I think your audio is skipping or something's going on, Mr. Allen.
Is it skipping now?
Okay, you're good.
So what I'm saying, you just got people that's lifelong Republicans. They just Republicans. Just to go back on to January 6th, 74 million people did the Capitol. Again, you have some people that's a lifelong, cannot stand Trump, but they lifelong Republican. So again, 74 million people did not storm the Capitol, just idiots that did it. And going back, and yes, so they're afraid. because this man have cried. Over 60 something frivolous lawsuits have been thrown out. You haven't proved no evidence of any type of fraud. So to make sure that this man wins or try to come back in 2024, even though he's still lying about the 2020 election, they're cheating. They're trying to do everything they can to the point where some of the governors, so let's say if a Democrat wins, they can go to a state, one of the state voting boards, wherever they sit in their county, and they can overturn that and say, you can't do that. Then nobody might as well not even vote then. If you're going to cheat, what are you afraid of? What it was, Trump did not believe that he was going to lose. He lost his mind. He could not lose like that. And he lost. He failed to realize that everybody doesn't love him, and he lost.
I agree. April said, she said Republicans are blocking those who should not be able to vote. This is a focus of stopping illegal, she says, and she's not for that.
Okay. But again,
that I get. Go ahead.
What illegal?
Go ahead.
You
said what illegal?
Hold on, the states that were reopened, they didn't find no person voting, and it's so funny because the fraud cases that they did find was Republicans.
Wow. And it wasn't enough to tip the scale to say we got to redo this, or there's a lot of corruption. Politics is corrupt, period. Let's just say that.
And they oaths. I believe that. They care
absolutely
power than the people. And that's the new norm now. Lying, corruption, and everything else.
Yep.
She's okay. So, okay. All right, April. I hear you, girl. JC said the Republicans cannot win in a fair election, so they are stacking the votes and making it. And so some states can refuse to back the winning tickets. So they can just throw them out. Okay. I get that too. Wow. So we got to keep our eye on this. So what election? So right now, what is the deal? So they are voting. They're trying to change the laws because they're saying there was corruption in the previous election, which was not the case. So they're basing their argument on untruths, is what is being said, right?
That is correct. You have
okay, but then we have April Dent saying that illegal immigrants. She doesn't want, so what she's saying is that things that are being changed is being changed for the right reasons.
Really?
She's saying,
here's an example. Trump took out mailboxes. They tried to take out voting places, black neighborhoods. And let's think about this new vote. In Georgia, for an example, sometimes the lines are real long in the black neighborhoods. But now allowed to get bottled water. Then what the hell is that? Why you can't pass bottled water like a long line? Who would write something like that?
What is the reason? Do they give reasons for?
Hold up.
Not being able to give water out and things like that.
Yeah. One of the things, yes. That's one of the things that they wrote in the Georgia law, that if you're in a long line, you're not allowed to give somebody a bottle of water. That's inhumane to me. It don't make sense.
I'm gonna share. Go ahead.
It's all
because.
So that's all.
You said all because of what? You got cut off. All because of what?
said all because of a lie.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And you got no
So
proof.
JC said no water, no food, not allowed, no Sunday voting. They probably cut the hours a lot of places.
Because a lot of, a lot of people like to vote when they get out of church.
Yeah, this is a mess. I want to read what's going on. So I just kind of looked up like voting rights, what's going on type of thing. And it says, so the Supreme Court, I guess they have a decision they're going to be making soon. It says the U.S. Supreme Court decided a major case on voting rights that essentially gutted what's left of the Voting Rights Act. The court upheld 2 Arizona laws, one of which banned the collection of absentee ballots by anyone other than a relative or caregiver, otherwise known as ballot harvesting. The other threw out any ballots cast in the wrong precinct. Okay. Obviously, the Supreme Court accepted our test and reasoning and rejected the Democratic National Committee's attempt to micromanage state elections. The decision, though, was a blow to those who believe voting access is more important than rooting out fraud, and that's most Americans. 50% said making sure that everyone who wants to vote can do so is a bigger concern than making sure no one who's ineligible votes. And I agree with that, because you can weed that out after the fact. But to stop people from voting in the first place is wrong. Matter of fact, everybody should vote. Everybody should vote. Everybody. And then at the end of it, they should just count out those who shouldn't vote. Just to make it simple. Everybody can vote, and we'll just throw yours out if you can't. If you're not a legal citizen, if you're not old enough, if you're not registered, if you're not, and maybe that's going to put more work on the people, but just to keep it fair. Yeah, go ahead and vote. Everybody vote. Everybody. And then you just have a big trash can like the ones they had on Venice Beach, throwing those homeless people stuff in there. Just have a bunch of trash cans and lighter fluid and matches for the ones who aren't supposed to vote. Just do it like that. Get it all up front and then just weed them out after the fact. That's what I say. So JC also said no drop-off votings, no drive-in voting. So they're making it hard, what it sounds like, to our older people, like elderly people. How are you going to stand in line for hours at a time? You can't drink water. You can't eat a snack. You probably can't sit in a chair. They probably make it very uncomfortable for people. I just feel like, She said also that in Texas, the most populated country, they removed all drop boxes except for one for millions of voters. So they have one drop box in Texas. How is that fair? That's not fair. And she said they did this during the election. Okay.
And he still lost.
And he still lost.
That is correct. I believe the guy that, the little treacherous snake Republican that they hired to work with the head of the postal service. He's the one that moved all those mailboxes out and did everything he could possibly do to slow it down. I believe Biden and them just got rid of him.
That's what they should have done. Got rid of. That's another thing. I think we are so slow to act on things here. I don't know why. I don't know where that happened. Just like the whole Venice Beach thing I was telling y'all about. Those people, that is expensive property in Los Angeles. For them to let that homeless community just take over that whole beach community like that for years. For years. I worked a block away from that beach back in 01 to 05. Really 2000 to 05, 06. But a block away. We would go there for lunch. It was a constant part of my life, going to that boardwalk. So it broke my heart to see nothing but tents all along the sand for miles. Nothing but tents tied to palm trees. People shitting and spitting and peeing on the boardwalk where people walk in, and tourists. That was a big tourist spot. This is money for the city. that they're ruining here with the food places that were there. How is that even safe to eat there with the pandemic that is, in my opinion, airborne? I mean, it's just too much. So with that being said, it takes too long to get stuff done. It takes too long. And that's the problem with a lot of this stuff. These laws they're trying to enact right now, like, as long as, look, people need to be treated fairly, no matter the color, creed, no matter the background, whether you were in prison, whether, like, if you're human and unvaccinated, you should be able to do whatever you want. No, let me stop.
Oh, that's lovely. You always got to get a dig.
I'm just seeing if you're paying attention.
I'm paying attention. You hear that, Miss Kim? She always got to throw it. She got to get a vaccine dig in there.
Oh, she said, no. JC said they're targeting people in minimum wage jobs that can't leave work to vote. Yep, there's the thing, the hours, there's that, and then the disabled people. Yeah. I don't know. We need to have JC here as our political correspondent. JC got all the bullet points. She said he won the state of Texas. He lost the election, but he won the state of Texas, honey. And I think they want the state of Texas to be its own jurisdiction. I think they want it to be its own country.
That's what I said. I said, even though he won in some of those states, he, you know, they're trying to tighten up the laws. What the hell are you tightening up the laws for if you won that? And it's so crazy because Texas, Florida, all of them said this was the smoothest election that they have, even with the pandemic, no issues whatsoever. But as soon as somebody lose 4 states, you throw the whole world in chaos.
Right. The whole world. Well, look.
That's right, JC.
JC said, I'm on that shit. April said, if you don't make it to the polls on time, you will not be able to vote. Okay, we get that. She says she likes that rule. But the problem is the hours. So that should be the case, but the hours should be long enough to allow everybody to vote. Some people have to work in the morning. Some people have to work at night. It should be accommodating of all. So the hours should be fair. It shouldn't be that, there are hours. There should be the fact that they should be fair hours. JC said state of Texas. They should make it a paid holiday.
Yeah.
She says state of Texas is not like other states. They're independent from us, but still benefit. They're independent from us? I didn't know that. In what way? They're independent, an independent state? A sovereign state? I don't think I knew that. Wow.
Are you from Texas, JC?
She's in Belgium. She knows more about our states than we do.
I wanted to know why the Texas governor was in the wheelchair. Is that permanent? I never looked that up and noticed he was in a wheelchair. So, Miss Dent, I understand that no, because people find ways to cheat. This eliminates the bill. There was no evidence of fraud in this last election. You had all this was done 3 and 4 times in some of those states, and no fraud was found. The only fraud that was found, so let me emphasize that, was 2 Republicans. One man voted with his dead wife, and another guy tried to vote twice and got caught. So both of the 2 little instances they got caught cheating. There was no widespread fraud. 60 frivolous lawsuits were conducted. His 3 past attorneys are right now trying to get them disbarred because they don't sit there and lie. So no, there's no one is trying to cheat. The Republicans are afraid.
They're afraid. Well, I have the answer to why he's in a wheelchair, if you want to know. I found it. So it says it's a natural curiosity. People who previously knew little about Governor Greg Abbott are seeing him on television and wondering, why is he using a wheelchair? So they, and then it says last year, let's see, what does it say? where does it say why he's in it? It says he became partially paralyzed in 1984 after a freak accident. Abbott, who was 26 years old at the time, was out for an afternoon jog in the River Oaks neighborhood of Houston when an oak tree, weakened by a recent storm, fell on him. A whole tree fell on this man. It says at the time he had just graduated from Vanderbilt's law school and was studying for the bar exam. He had taken a break from studying to go on a jog with his roommate, and he got hit by a tree. What? And it didn't stop him from keep going. I don't really like the man, but he kept that thing going, and he's governor now. That says a lot.
He's governor that invited Trump down there. Trump is no longer the president for the Mexican border. He's also using taxpayers' money to build the wall that Trump said Mexico was going to build. So now Abbott and them are going to build the wall now. Something that should have been done 4 years ago, as promised on one of your campaign promises that you didn't keep.
JC says she has a great group on Twitter, and she does research on the media and the law, etc. And JC wants to know if you're okay, Miss Kim, or his beautiful spirit.
Actually, I'm a lot better, y'all, and I thank y'all too for wishing me well from today's Saturday, last Wednesday. And honey, when I tell you feel so good, oh man, I'm so thankful.
Yeah, isn't your health? It's funny how you take advantage of your good health, right? Because you're feeling good every day typically, and then when you don't, it's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't like being sick at all because I feel like it just do so much to me. Like I feel like I'm slowed down, and I just be like, no, I cannot get sick. I don't want to be.
Well, everybody's prayers have been heard and answered. Miss Kim is back up. She up and she stuck.
You see, I curled my hair today, y'all.
COVID symptoms, all that. Miss Kim,
yes, they were. Yes, she did. She talking about she had lost her taste. I was like, Yeah,
I did. I was like, we is not going. I ate my honey buns today, y'all. I was back.
That's the honey bun fiend. She's a honey bun fiend, y'all.
But truth
she said,
God is dying to help me. I had to go tap in. I had to go into silence. And that helped a lot. I had to do my oil again, my tea, prayer, and thinking positive. And I even think when I talked with you guys with the live, I actually felt better even by the time I got off the live. And so I just came around and just believed otherwise. I wasn't confused.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you're feeling better. You're probably feeling a little bit much better if you got your COVID shot, but we won't talk about that no more.
No, we're not going to talk about that because Miss Kim, she's going to continue to be safe or be safer than what she was. I don't know what you've been doing out there, beautiful spirit in Vegas, but you can't let Vegas put their claws on.
Was that grocery store because, it was cold and then going out in the heat. And then I got caught in the little thunderstorm that had happened. That's the only thing I could think of because I didn't go nowhere. And that was it. And I wear my mask.
JC said they're talking about patients needing lung transplants today. Yeah. I had something I was going to talk about as far as that goes too. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick about the virus again. Delta's ticking time bomb, Indian variant ravaging UK could make up all new COVID cases in NYC by August 14th, as US faces infection rates 6 times what they are now. So they're really pumping this thing up because I've heard things of we're going to be locked down again in September.
Yeah.
I've seen things that are saying, and also there's word out there that, digital currency is about to be the only currency. And somebody that I somewhat trust with this kind of stuff has been telling me this for a while, and I'm just like, nah, it's not gonna happen no time soon. But then I see a commercial recently. I was watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Yes, I do watch that. And there was a commercial about, it was like a digital currency machine on a corner, and it was like an ATM machine, and it was just a regular commercial. Like the person walked up to the machine, put their cash in, and it said digital currency for all, coming soon. So be on the lookout for these digital currency machines to be set up around your neighborhood. And these are just a forewarning of the fact that we are going to be a cashless society at some point in the future. Everybody that I've heard that makes sense about any of this stuff says 2025 is the year where we're going to see a lot of these conspiracies that we're talking about today. And like I said, the cashless currency, the cashless economic system, the whole chip thing that people are saying, a lot of people say that this vaccine is really them implanting the chip that has been talked about for decades, at least a decade. The chip that I see being more prevalent is the chip on our debit or credit cards. Because it always says insert chip, insert chip, insert chip. And that chip has your banking information, but I think maybe there might be a card that might have more than your banking information. It might have your medical information, because as we know, the virus has led us to now have to show in some instances whether or not we're vaccinated or not. Well, that falls under medical umbrella. And there's a law, HIPAA out there, the HIPAA laws, right, are out there to protect us against discrimination because of our medical history and information. So it's private. It is private. And the vaccine is a part of that. So matter of fact, after today, I'm not even talking about the fact that I'm not vaccinated no more. Because at some point, they might be trying to start rounding us up like they're doing these homeless people and putting us in encampments. And I'm not trying to be found just because I personally was talking about my own business. So, oh, dang. Got kicked out. I didn't even see it.
Yeah, I had got kicked out by accident.
But I think that's all we got for now. We're going on 3 hours. This was a pleasant time. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. We're back tomorrow morning. I don't know what time, but tomorrow I'm gonna do Shot of Love, 10 minutes of praise and worship. Join me. If you're subscribed, you should get the notification. My normal time is 10:40 a.m. I think I'm gonna stick to that for tomorrow. But I'm gonna do that, and I'm going to do something on my membership channel. I think I'm gonna do tarot, and I think I'm gonna do tarot on the R. Kelly case. I haven't decided. It's either gonna be that or a private meditation, but I think I'm gonna do tarot on the membership channel tomorrow. So stay tuned for that too. It might be early after, like 3 Pacific, which is 6 Eastern, something like that. So unless life interrupts, that is what's the plan. And what y'all got for last words? Because we are out.
Love and peace and blessings to all of us. Stay safe, and we greatly appreciate every last one of you that took time out with us tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you for the time, attention, and energy. And we're going to say again, R.I.P. Biz Marquis. We're going to go off.
Have you ever met a girl that you tried
Marquis.
to date, but a year to make love, she wanted you to wait? Let me tell you a story of my
make sure
situation.
you take care of yourselves
I was
out
talking
there.
to this girl from the U.S. nation.
And,
the way that I met her was on tour at a concert. She had long hair and a short miniskirt. I just got
take care of your health. Because we should all be living beyond our 50s.
I whispered in the air, come to the picture booth so I can ask you some questions to see if you're 100 proof. I asked her her name, she said blah, blah, blah.
I'm going to say y'all are more than just a friend. When it comes to Goddess Dawn Tips, I appreciate your support.
She said I was very amused. I started throwing back, she started throwing back.
Dang, Biz Marquis.
She acted kind of strange. Then when I asked, do you have a man, she tried to protect. She said, I only have a friend. Come on, I'm not even going for it. That's what I'm going to say.
You got what I need. When you say he's just a friend, You say he's just a friend. Oh, baby, please. Oh, you. Yeah. Got what I need, baby. Oh, you say she's just a friend. But you say, hey. Yeah, more than a friend. Gotta love it. All right, y'all. Peace, love, and happiness. Till next time. Much love.